So, welcome to Season of Change, transforming your life by the power in the Word of God. I am your host, Joseph Jeremiah from Nigeria, and I have my guest here on this episode from Belgium. His name is Matthew. Well, he's a great man, an author on a mission to help people. He's a great farmer. He's an engineer, and also is a man that has passion to make things work in the right way. So, Matthew, welcome to Season of Change.
Yeah, Jeremiah, thank you for having me on your show.
Wow, it's a great time to have somebody from Belgium. I believe this is my first time of hosting somebody from Belgium, and I believe it's going to be a great one to to have you on this platform. And I believe all our audience are going to enjoy the great conversation we're going to have with you. So you sent us a mail that you want to share your story. You want to talk about your personal life journey from the most difficult moments into your life, in your life to your successful story today. I believe it's in life, it's in stages. And we're going to be looking at the early challenges, the turning point, overcome the obstacles you overcome, the support system, the personal growth, defining success. I will be looking at lessons that we learned and achieving goals and mindset shift and future aspirations. These are the things we're going to be looking at, and questions will be coming from them. And I believe that as we bring that to you, you will do justice to those questions. So there are 10 questions here, and I believe those 12 questions, all our audience are waiting, expecting you to narrate your personal life journey from the most challenging moments to to your current success. And I believe that is a great one. So, what impressed you to be on this platform by sending us a mail? What are the things that interest you more?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Jeremiah. So, before I answer that question, I think I want to go back a little bit about my own personal story. So, I grew up on a family farm, and my brother and my father are farmers. So, ever since I was a small child, I was always very fascinated about nature and how plants grow and how nature actually works. And also, from a very early age, I wanted to have my own little vegetable garden. And at that time on our family farm, we didn't have vegetables. It was mostly cattle and cash crops like grains. So I really insisted to my parents to be able to do that. And I then started with my gardening journey. And the first thing I was sowing was radishes. And I can tell you, Jeremiah, if you ever want to start your own garden, also to the audience, start with radishes. It's the easiest thing to grow. It's very healthy and it goes very quick. So I had my early success, and then I thought like, wow, this is so easy. I'm going to keep growing other stuff now. So I just started to seed all kinds of things without having much knowledge. And I think you can already know what happened next. I started to grow things, but I didn't take care of it. And I thought, okay, I'll just come back in a couple of weeks. It will be full of fresh vegetables. But then I came back and it was overgrown by weeds, and I was devastated because I wanted to grow tomatoes, but there were no tomatoes, there were only weeds. So from that moment on, I really wanted to understand, like, why do weeds come? How does nature work? So throughout my life, I then continued to study landscape architecture. I learned a lot about regenerative farming. And at that time, I was also like, I started studying. I got my bachelor degrees in Belgium. I did a master's in Germany. And I started my first job. I had my first 9 to 5 job. I was very excited about it. But then what happened was I was stuck in this 9 to 5 job, and I became depressed. Like, okay, what am I doing here? So from that, I said, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to travel the world. So I went to travel big parts of South America and Asia. I also had spent some time in South Africa. I actually wrote my master thesis on community gardens in Cape Town, in South Africa. And then I quit my job. I traveled a lot of places to learn more about ecology and see like really cool projects to understand that more. And then from that experience, then actually something quite interesting happened, is that I got dengue. I don't know, Jeremiah, if you're familiar with dengue. I think it's also present in Nigeria, but it's like malaria.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I got dengue. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, so I got dengue, and then I lost 10 kilograms. I was really sick. And after that, I came back home. I actually got dumped by my girlfriend. I lost my work. I pretty much lost all my money. So my life was really down in the gutter. And I took that opportunity of being like in a really difficult moment in my life to reevaluate everything that I was doing. And then I also got some help with coaches that I hired. And from that whole experience, I was able to rebuild my whole life and focus on the things that I'm here to do. And my purpose in life, my purpose in life is to help our planet to thrive again, to improve the health of our planet on an ecological way. So all across the world, I'm helping gardeners and farmers to become successful and to actually work with nature rather than working against it. Because if with the challenges that we are facing with climate change, that is extreme weather patterns, we have to farm in a way that is in harmony with nature. Otherwise, we will not be. And I think you see it in Nigeria as well. The weather is becoming more extreme, right?
So, thank you so much for that brief introduction. So we're going to maybe move into your early challenges. What were some of the most difficult moments in your early lives, and how did they shape your perspective on life?
Yeah, so I think I told, or the things that happened was like that I lost my girlfriend, I lost all my money, I was very sick from dengue. I also was like physically really in a bad shape. So that was one of the most, or that was the most difficult moment in my life. And from there, I really was able to question myself, like, what am I doing here? What should I be doing? And it's from that whole experience that I got to start my journey to work on things that are in alignment with my purpose, which is about helping people to succeed as a farmer and as a gardener.
So let's move to the turning points. So can you describe a specific turning points when you decided to make a specific change in your life? What motivates you to keep that step?
Keep what?
The steps to keep moving on, to keep
Oh yeah,
what? So describe the specific turning points when you decided to make a specific change in your life. What motivates you to take the steps? What are those things that motivate you?
Yeah, wow, I have to say this is an amazing question. So this pivotal moment was when I was like really down in the gutter, pretty much depressed that I said I have enough of this. I just was like sick and tired of being a victim. So I started to look like, okay, what can I do? And then I came across somebody that helped me as a coach. So he mentored me for a couple of months, and we talked a lot. So I think it was really to be able to talk with somebody that is kind of external, that is not necessarily a family or a friend, and that can like boost you to like understand what you're here to do, and then walk the path together with you for a while. That was huge. That was a huge investment in myself.
You really do a great investment on yourself, went for training, consultation from coach, and all this have kept you moving. All these are the things that
Yes.
motivate you.
Yes.
So thank you so much. So we'll be moving to the next one, overcoming obstacles. What are the biggest, or what were the biggest obstacles you have faced in your to success? The biggest
What in my
obstacles.
year?
I say, what are the biggest obstacles you have faced on your journey to success?
Oh, yeah, there's many.
Can you mention them?
There's a whole lot actually, because I think success is not possible without some struggle or some obstacles. I'm actually very thankful for the obstacles, but some of the bigger obstacles along the way, yeah, it's kind of the growing pain of starting a business. You know, you start out, you have a couple clients, you want to start scaling, but then some unexpected things happen and you have to like find solutions all the time. So, but I'm thinking of the big obstacles. Yeah, I think more recently I've overcome a big obstacle where I was, my business was growing, but I couldn't grow fast enough because, yeah, there's so much things that need to be done when you're a solo entrepreneur. You have to like find clients, you have to be on social media, you have to call clients, you have to follow up on things, look at your emails. There's a whole lot to do when you're completely like a one person business. And at some point that became really overwhelming. So I looked at the things that were stopping me the most, like the things that were annoying me the most, or that were taking more energy that I would get from it. And I saw that for me personally, that was so things that have to do with organizational work, like scheduling meetings, making invoices, the whole like bureaucratic work of the business. And I'm not good at it even. So I started to question like, okay, how can I resolve this? And then I found somebody that is now helping me as my assistant. And it's not a full-time assistant. She only does a couple hours a week, but it's amazing because she is so much more effective than I would be. So like the big obstacle was like being busy with things that are not part of my what I'm really good at, but I have to do it when you're growing a business, right? You cannot, if you don't do your bookkeeping, then you're going to be in trouble. If you don't follow up on your invoices, then you don't get the money. So you have to really do it, otherwise you cannot have the business. But then it became too much where I was kind of blocked. So I decided to hire somebody who now does all this work so I can focus more on the things that I'm really good at. And that's been a huge step.
Well, thank you for that. And wanted to ask you, how do you overcome? But you've made mention of that while you're saying while you are talking about the obstacles, you said you employ somebody to take over the jobs and to help you
Yeah.
in order to assist you. So I want to ask you, who were the key people who support you during your tough times, and how did their support influence your journey?
Key people in my life were all the coaches and mentors that I hired, because I think this is one of the things that I'm very grateful for, is that all the money that I was making, I reinvested it in pretty much in myself by hiring more and bigger and better uh, coaches that can help me to grow. Because you can do everything on your own, but it will take you 10 years. Whereas if you can find a really good coach with a lot of experience, my my dearest coach is Raymond Aaron. I can definitely highly recommend him. Um, he is he's turning 80 this year, and we're actually going on a birthday retreat for his birthday, and because he also became a dear friend, and he's just he has so much experience and knowledge of growing a business, and every week I have a half an hour meeting with him, and that really changes everything. And it's a substantial investment, but I will earn it back super fast, because you basically, what I do is basically I'm winning time. So if I can win time, I can make more money on a shorter time frame as well.
Mhm. That's great. You're trying to win more times for yourself. So how did you grow? How did you grow personally and professionally through this struggle, or through your struggle as challenges?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I kind of swear by that are really important, and it's the way you treat yourself, right? It's the things that you say to yourself in your mind, like, because from my experience, whatever I tell myself, it will become my reality. So if I say like, oh, the business is not going well and I'm not feeling good and I should have more clients, when I go into this kind of mentality, then I only get more of that. It's pretty much like, if even if you're religious or not religious, it's pretty much, it's like asking God, like when you talk to yourself in that way, it's like asking God, give me even more of the things that are not good,
Mm.
right? If whatever I focus on, that grows. So if I think like, oh shit, I have to do this and I have to do that, and that's not going well, then it's only gonna get worse. And it like I'm human. We're all human. It happens. But the moment that I start to realize that it happens, I take a minute and I take my notebook and I write down what I'm grateful for. I start to write things about that I'm grateful for, and that changes everything. Because even if you're in a difficult situation, there's always things to be grateful for, right? Like being alive is just being alive is like, it's a true gift. And then having food on your plate, having a roof over your head, and obviously in this world, it's unfortunately not everybody has that, but just being like very grateful for it myself puts me in a whole different energy, um, and that helps me to continually grow, because there's always going to be tough moments, and actually the tough
Yeah.
moments is when I can grow the most. Like the difficult moments, I learn a lot. I can move forward with the business. Obviously, when it goes well, it's also nice, but then not much changes, right? When
Yeah.
everything's good, it's good. But if you're struggling, then a lot of things can change. So also being grateful for all these things is important.
Wow, that's great. So, in your own way, can you define what success is?
In my own words, is that?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good question. I love this question. So I think what success is for me, it's about self-realization. It's about, I believe that every person that is born on our planet has something inside of them that is already uh, predestined. Maybe God give you a certain gift of like what you can do in this world. And then if you don't do it, then your life will be pretty miserable. But if you focus on the things that you are here to do,
Mhm.
then you can grow, you can start a business, you can help other people, and all of this is what defines success for me.
Wow, that's great. Now, what are the lessons you learned from your difficult experience? What are the lessons?
To embrace also the difficult moments, to take a minute when it's difficult, to to sit with it and write it out, so it's not internally inside of you. You can put it like outside, um, and then just looking inside of you and trying to understand yourself more and more in those difficult moments, to see like what where you can move forward, because there's always something that you can do.
Wow, thank you so much. You have really learned a lot of lessons, and I believe you just give us few of it because I believe there are still a lot of lessons you can still talk about. Can you describe a goal you once thought was unattainable, but eventually you achieve it? You heard my question?
Yeah, I'm thinking like what goal that I thought I would never achieve, and I still achieve it, because I think that every time I have a goal, I will not write down a goal unless I know that it's possible.
Hmm.
Because what's the point of writing down a goal if you have a certain feeling that you cannot achieve it? Then I don't think it's a goal.
Hmm.
Even if it's very far and it may feel difficult, if you don't believe that it can actually happen, then it will never happen. So I think that's important to note. Like whenever I write down my goal, I try and visualize it and feel like, okay, well, if I achieve that goal, how will it feel? How will it look? To make it more tangible, more realistic. So I can't really say whenever I thought that it would not be possible.
Wow. So, what did your mindset change when you were struggling to now?
Hmm. Yeah, at that time when I was really in a difficult space, I thought yeah, I thought that it was very difficult to move forward. I didn't see like a solution or something, and I was really like a more of a victim. So I start to blame other people, or it's not my fault, and um, I didn't take responsibility for my life.
Hmm.
And then now I see whatever happens in my life, and even around me or with other people, I try to see like what is my responsibility in this, and how can I respond to it. Like if something difficult happens, what can I do to solve it, to move forward? So I think it's about being responsible for my own life, for everything in my own life. Yeah.
So what impact this have on your success?
It changed
Do you have
everything.
it changed everything? Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So looking back on your journey, advice will you give to someone facing similar challenges?
Yeah, I have this great quote. I think it's from Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you can see it and you can believe it, then you can achieve it. And this is not difficult, especially, this is difficult, or this can be difficult, especially if you're in a difficult situation. But if you can start and take a moment, like writing some things down about what you are grateful for in your life today, maybe because you have your parents, maybe because you have a child, maybe that you can breathe air inside of you, that your body is physically strong. Like writing, really taking a time and write everything out. It's very powerful. And then when you're in that bigger, you'll notice once you do this exercise, you will feel so much better. And then also taking the time to think like, okay, but now what do I actually want to do with my life? What do I believe that I can do? So then when you can feel also inside of you that this is something that is part of my purpose in life, part of like the gift that God has given me. And then you put your mind onto that, you can see it, and then you can start believing it. Then it's only a matter of time to achieve it. And then of course it's one thing about like believing it and seeing it, then you also have to take like action steps. And it can feel always overwhelming to get to that goal that is there. But then in the end of the day, you can only do like very small steps each and every moment and each and every day. Like a day only has 24 hours. It's the same for everybody. So what can you do today or now that will put you just a little bit closer to that goal? Because there's no, let's say that you want to be a millionaire. Let's say that your goal is you want to be a millionaire. Okay. And today you have $10 on your account. So it's a far stretch, right? You have to
Yes.
start like, okay, how can I go from $10 to $20? How can I go from 20 to 40? And then how can you like each and every day, like, I can add a little bit more of this service to my business, or I can help more people there, or like you have to always do like very, very small steps each and every day. And then being consistent is so important. Like, even if you're committed to your goal and you really like always look to your goal, every day remind yourself of that goal, write it on a big piece of paper and put it next to your mirror in your bathroom, so you're sure that you're going to see it every morning, and then consistently work on it. Because if you do one small thing every day, it's going to be way more effective than doing something big every week or every 2 weeks, or because there's only 52 weeks in a year, but there's 365 days in a year. So that's a huge difference. You do something every day.
Wow, thank you so much. And the last questions I will be asking you on this episode is, what are your aspirations for the future?
Yeah, I want to keep growing my business, because how I look at my business is that if my business is growing, then it reflects my impact in the world. So I want to help people across the planet to do something with gardening or farming. And I'm actually starting a program in Haiti, in next to the Dominican Republic, with an NGO. We're helping people there to start becoming more effective at farming and at farming. So I basically want to scale my impact into the world, because I've done some work now over the last 3 years, and it's working. But now it's about, okay, how can we scale it? How can we reach a lot of people, millions of people?
Well, I want to say you can also try to scale up your NGOs or your job to Nigeria. Here is a place for good land, for good agriculture. It's a place whereby you're going to make a lot. It's going to strive a lot if you have opportunity to invest in Nigeria. And that I want to say thank you so much for coming on this platform. And we want to thank you for the opportunity that you accept our invitation to come on our platform to share your story for our listeners to benefit from it. And I want to say thank you. God bless you so much, Matthew. We really appreciate you, and we believe that next, when we call upon you to come on this platform, you'll give us your word, yes. And we know that by the time we'll be calling you again, you have a lot of success story to share with us. And we want to say thank you. We enjoyed your story, and it is interesting and fascinating. And we want to say it, if any of our listeners want to connect with you, can you give us your social media handle, your website, so that they can reach out to you and
Yes.
talk to you directly?
Yes, so people can find me under my personal name on Instagram, Mathieu Mehuis. I think you can put that in the show notes. Then I also have a website that is called www.gardenofyourdreams.com. And there I have a couple of free videos that you can watch on how to start your gardening work. And then also there's another website of my upcoming award-winning book, 12 Universal Laws of Nature, How to Get the Most Potential Out of Your Land. You can order my book there. And then you can also find me on all the other platforms, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram I mentioned. Yeah, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And we want to say we'll bring this episode to a stop now. While we've said, always stay connected with us on Season of Change. Listen to more of our episode. We're bringing the story of people that ignites hope, that change life, that transformed life. And we want you to know that your transformation begins from the inner part of you. So, and we want to say thank you, and stay connected with us on every social media handle, Season of Change, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And you can also watch a lot of our videos on the YouTube and listen to all the audio podcast on the Spotify, the Apple, and Google podcast. So thank you. God bless you. And you can also get enter our website for all the consultations that you need. You will get them there. Thank you so much. God bless you till we come again with another new episode. And we want to say thank you to our guest, Matthew. Thank you so much.